Dear fans and subscribers, I recorded something on YouTube, but unfortunately that didn't go through. They had some problems. I'm unfortunate, so I won't be able to do any greater. And welcome to the late night cricket show on Cricket Happenings, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Well, there are two matches that I'm going to look at, but as I said, I'm not really sure about when YouTube would conk out, so I'm just going to do a match summary here. The first match that I'll be doing is between Sri Lanka and Pakistan, where Sri Lanka, thanks to a very attacking partnership, thanks to a very good partnership that happened between Asad Shafiq, who went on to score his 7th Test century and played in a very composed manner and in a very matured fashion, made 131, and he had a good partner in Sarfraz Ahmed, who was playing all the strokes. He was the one who was the attacking self, and he played pretty well to contribute 96 with 13 fours. But Asad Shafiq was the anchor man for the Pakistani team, as he chiseled together an innings of 131, his 7th Test century with only 5 fours. So that will tell you how Asad Shafiq played. He was the one who was in sharp contrast to Sarfraz Ahmed, who was attacking with lots of boundaries. He was a very calm and composed innings from Asad Shafiq, which was very good. And then for Pakistan, everything came together. Wahab Riaz contributed 14, and for Pakistan, every player contributed. The lower order really came and helped them from 118 for 5. In fact, the partnership went on to 235 when Sarfraz Ahmed and Asad Shafiq were there for the 6th wicket, which was pretty good. But after that, Pakistan got very good support from the lower order batsmen. Yasir Shah going on to make 23 of 29 balls with 4 fours. But the surprise packet was the bowler Zulfikar Babar, showing his batting skills today in good measure, as he slammed 56 of 60 balls with 6 fours and 2 sixes. And that was the time when Yasir Shah was out. The score was 302 for 5, and Sri Lanka would have felt that it's only a matter of cleaning up the tail. But look at the partnership that happened. 101 run partnership for the 9th wicket between Asad Shafiq and Zulfikar Babar, as I said, really played a creditable innings of 56 of 60 balls, 6 fours and 2 sixes. And then that was the precise reason Pakistan could take a 117 runs lead. As I said, Sri Lanka would have been pretty surprised, because they would have never thought that, at 302 for 8, probably Sri Lanka would have thought that Pakistan was going to get a slender lead. And look at what happened. Zulfikar Babar, as I said, came up with was a surprise packet, making a very audacious 56 of 60 balls, 6 fours and 2 sixes, 417 all out. The wicket takers were Dilruwan Pereira, who took 4 wickets for 122 runs, and then 3 wickets to Prasad, Pradeep and Herat. Now, as far as Sri Lanka in their second dig were concerned, they were 117 runs in arrears, and they were in trouble right away, as Kaushal Silva, the centurion, was snapped up early today when Wahab Riaz got him to nick to Azhar Ali for 5. And then Yasir Shah, as I said, this pitch is showing lot of signs of turn and bounce, good turn and bounce, and that resulted in Yasir Shah getting lots of turn and bounce on this wicket. And look at the wicket that he took. He took a prize wicket of Kumar Sangakkara, who was snapped up by Azhar Ali for 18 with 2 boundaries, and that left Sri Lanka really looking in a very sorry situation at 63 for 2. Karunaratne was the one who was amongst the runs. He made 36 with 6 boundaries, and Dilruwan Pereira was sent in as night watchman. He was not out on not. And for Sri Lanka, as you know, tomorrow is the final day of the match. Already the pitch is showing signs of lots of wear and tear, and the pitch is really, I think the ball is going to turn square tomorrow, and it's not going to be easy with the likes of Yasir Shah, Zulfikar Babar and Mohammad Hafiz operating. And Sri Lanka finished at 63 for 2. They still have another 54 runs to actually wipe off the arrears before starting back. So I think the 5th day happens to be something that which is going to be really hard work for Sri Lanka, because they have to actually wipe off their ears, and they also put up some runs on the board. Otherwise it could be a Pakistan victory tomorrow. But one has to wait and watch, like whether the Sri Lankan batsmen can really deal with the vagaries of the pitch tomorrow. And as you know, it's a final day, so one does not know what all could happen. The pitch could really crack up, and it could really have a lot of things happening. So one has to wait and watch. But all in all, the fifth day's play happens to be something which is going to be very interesting tomorrow. So that is as far as that is concerned. Now, as far as the other match which I am talking about is a match which we all know that this has. I was telling you on my cricket broadcast that one has never seen a one-day series being so fiercely contested with tons of runs scored, and once again today. But the only sad part was that today the match between England and New Zealand, which was the fifth and final one, unfortunately had to end in a Duckworth-Lewis method because of rain. And look at the result. It was England, the hosts, who actually won it. They won by 3 wickets with 6 balls remaining by the Duckworth-Lewis method, and the hero was Johnny Bairstow. Now, Johnny Bairstow, as you know, took the place of Josh Butler because Josh Butler was injured, and taking the place, he took this opportunity with both hands, and in a very timely manner when England were needing runs, he really produced the goods by hitting an unbeaten 83 of 60 balls with 11 fours. And in sharp contrast to what happened in the previous one-day international matches, in fact, England really were struggling today, because at one stage their half the team was in the pavilion with the score reading 45 for 5 in the 9th over, and nobody would have given England a chance at that time when the score was 45 for 5. But Johnny Bairstow changed it, absolutely changed it, in the company of I thought it was Sam Billings who was keeping him company, who contributed 41, but all the eyes were on Johnny Bairstow. He was there till the end to pilot England to victory, and what a knock it was. 83 runs, unbeaten at that of just 60 deliveries with 11 fours, taking the man of the match award. Just giving you a synopsis of what happened. Actually, it was New Zealand who batted first. They put on 283 for 9 of their 50 overs. Well, they definitely got some good innings. They lost Brendan McCullum pretty early, bowled by Finn for 6 in the first over itself. But then Martin Guptill contributed 67 of 73 balls with 6 fours and 1 6. But let me tell you, today there was a lot of assistance for the bowlers, and it was not the same aggressive batting that you could see. There was a lot of difference in that. Kane Williamson making 50 of 65 balls with 5 fours. Ross Taylor contributing 47 of 63 balls with 2 fours. Santner was promoted in the order. He was out for 2. Grant Elliott contributed a neat 35 of 36 balls with 4 fours. Luke Ronchi failed with just 2 runs. And then Ben Wheeler was the one who really gave the impetus to this New Zealand innings to take this the New Zealand innings to 283 with some big hits, as he manhandled Stephen Finn in the final over by slamming him for 22 runs, inclusive of 2 sixes that Ben Wheeler hit. And Ben Wheeler finished on an unbeaten 39 of 28 balls with 2 fours and 3 sixes. The other day we saw on his international debut that Ben Wheeler showed his bowling capability, and today he showed his all-round capability by scoring 39, an unbeaten 39 at that of 28 deliveries, 2 fours and 2 sixes. Tim Southee made 18 of 13 balls with 2 fours. Matt Henry was 12, and Mathieson was the one-day international debutant today from New Zealand. He was playing today, and well, he definitely made it count, as he got his first wicket got a wicket with the very first ball that he bowled. I thought it was the second ball, if I'm not wrong. He got the wicket of the second ball in his one-day international career here. Now, looking at the England bowling here, well, they definitely got some tap there. Finn went for 73 of his 10 with two wickets. Willie actually gave away 50 runs with 2 wickets. Mark Wood 10 overs none for 60. Stokes 10 overs 3 for 52. And Adil Rashid bowled well. I thought he made good use of the googly today by foxing the New Zealand batsman when he picked up 2 wickets for 45. Now, as far as England were concerned, as I said, the start was in fact, it was Brendan McCullum actually today not starting with the pace bowlers, in fact giving the first over to Michael Santner. Santner was the one who sent in the first over, the left-arm spinner, but Matheson was also introduced early on. In fact, in the first over he gave it to Santner, who contributed I thought 8 runs, and then the next over in fact Brendan McCullum decided to give it to the rookie A. Matheson, who was actually making his debut. And look at what Matheson did in his very second delivery of his international career. He picked up actually the ball that he bowled was a freebie delivery, I would say, because it was probably half the length of the pitch. The ball was pitched, and Jason Roy hung up his bat, and Guptill took the catch, and Jason Roy was pretty unhappy with that stroke. He knew he had done a mistake there, and Jason Roy was out for 12 of 20 balls with 1-4, and then in fact it was the first wicket to go was first wicket to go was Alex Hales was the first wicket to go. Alex Hales was trying to pull a delivery from Santner. He wanted to blast the ball through the square leg region, but what a catch taken by Williamson, plucking it out of thin air even though he was a short man. I thought Kane Williamson did very well to stretch his hand above his head and actually pick up this catch. So it was wonderfully done, I thought, by Kane Williamson. He was gone for 1. After that, we saw Joe Root wicket being taken when Santner dragged Joe Root out of the crease. He was stumped by Ronke for 4. Morgan holed out to Guptill of the bowling of Santner for naught, and Santner was on a real roll, because what Santner did, he picked up 3 wickets pretty quickly and reduced England to 20 for 3. And then Ben Stokes, as you know, even though he was not really overwrapped with the situation, kept on playing his strokes, but Wheeler picked up his wicket for 17 of 13 balls, and then the Matheson, the one-day international debutant from New Zealand, picked up his maiden international wicket with the second ball of his one-day international career, as he picked up Jason Roy for 12, and that really made England's innings very, not only shaky, they were tottering at 45 for 5 in 9 overs, and nobody would have really given a chance to England with Jonathan Bairstow and Billings at the crease. And look at what happened. And in fact, and after that, the rain fell, and the overs had to be pruned away, and then finally it came to 192 runs that England had to get in 25 overs, and that was the time it was Jonathan Bairstow and Sam Billings at the crease. And after that, Jonathan Bairstow, well, let me tell you, he was playing some classic strokes. He was beautifully hitting it through the extra cover region. He was driving beautifully through the mid-on and mid-off area, and he was playing some really classic strokes, I would say. And he was well supported by Sam Billings at the other end, and both of them resurrected the situation by adding 80 runs for the 6th wicket, which was pretty important. And then we saw the exit of Sam Billings after making a useful 41 of 30 balls with 4 fours and 1 6. David Willey was sent back pretty early, but Adil Rashid stayed with Jonathan Bairstow till the end, and Jonathan Bairstow was the difference here. And as I said, nobody would have given a chance to England at 45 for 5 in the 9th over, and finally after losing another 2 wickets, they reached 192. And look at the share of Jonathan Bairstow, playing a classical innings today with some beautifully hit boundaries. He had 11 nice boundaries hit in his unbeaten knock of 83 of just 60 deliveries, and he took the Man of the Match award as England won by the Duckworth-Lewis method by 3 wickets. And that was his. And England, what a one-day series we had. This was the most high-scoring one-day international series ever played in one-day international history. As if my stats are right, I think it's 1,521 runs were scored, and the previous record was held by in an India-Pakistan one-day series. Now the record belongs to England and New Zealand, and they rightly belong to them. And what a series! Now, I thought the English spectators were never short of entertainment in this one-day series. Runs cascaded from the blades of the batsmen. Player of the match was Jonathan Bairstow. Player of the series went to Kane Williamson of New Zealand. and the one-day series, a very high run-making series, finally ended with England winning the 5-match series 3-2. And looking at the bowling for the New Zealanders, Saudi 4 overs none for 28. Santner bowled superbly, I thought. 6 overs no maiden 3 for 31. Wheeler 5 overs 2 for 33. Matheson on his debut getting his international wicket. 4 overs no maiden 140. Henry bowled 5 overs for 37 and 1 wicket. Elliott 1 over no maiden, none for 16. So now the onus will be on the T20s, and also I'd like to tell you Jonathan Bairstow has played such a wonderful knock coming in from nowhere, and now he would have a chance to get onto the T20s too, because I am told that Josh Butler is out of the T20 series again between England and New Zealand, unfortunately. So Jonathan Bairstow would be pretty happy about it, and he has already taken the opportunity with both hands, and he is showing that what wicket keeping and batting talent England possess by playing this wonderful knock today. It was really a sort of a real, I would say, a real piece of cake from Jonathan Bairstow today. Well, dear fan subscribers, this finally concludes this late night cricket happening show of mine this on a Saturday. Hope you all liked it, and I'll be catching up with you tomorrow. Yes, definitely I'll be looking at the final day's play, which is an interesting day's play which is coming up between Sri Lanka and Pakistan, and whether Pakistan are looking good here, but for Sri Lanka to stave off, as I said, the pitch is looking pretty dicey here because it's a final day pitch. I'm sure there's a lot of evidence, a lot of turn and bounce of the pitch, and on final day we all know how the pitch can really crack, and the spinners could have a real ball here. But one has to wait and watch. I think if Sri Lanka can actually score some useful runs, in the sense probably first wipe off the Harriers and still have some 150 and tell Pakistan to chase the target, I think Pakistan would also find it tough with the Sri Lankan spinners. Could be someone who could be pretty deadly on this track, especially Rangana Herath. But well, dear fan subscribers, we will know what is the outcome tomorrow when I speak to you on this Cricket Happening show. Until then, it's good night. Thank you.